Hey everyone, welcome back to the Triathlon Weekly News Roundup presented by thefeed.com. My name's Travis. So sorry that I missed last week's news roundup, but that just means we've got more to go over this week, and there are a lot of interesting news points. There's stuff about Alistair Brownlee, Jan Frodeno, Taylor Knibb, Lionel Sanders, and of course about those bikes that are missing that everybody's been talking about. So much to go over. I'm super excited. I'm gonna do it as quick as I can this week because it's just been one of those days where the time has flown by. The sun went down at like 4 o'clock here in Washington. It feels like the day is over already. Thank you so much for tuning in, and yeah, let's dive in. And of course, we are starting off with the race results because there were actually 5 races this weekend, which is crazy this late in the season, all of them offering PTO points, and all were in hot, humid, and very hard locations, so there was some good racing. Ironman Cozumel, Sebastian Kienle said his farewell. Didn't get to race a full Ironman. The swim was canceled due to choppy conditions. Leon Chevalier just crushed the race though. He was unstoppable on the bike, another sub 4-hour bike split. He actually moves up to number 9 in the PTO rankings now. It means Daniel Baekkegard drops out of the top 10, although he's got another race this weekend. Chris Leiferman had a fantastic race as well. He crashed out of the Nice World Championship, so great to see him book his Kona spot. And then Robert Wilkowiecki stole the podium right at the end from Sebastian, who crossed the same time as he did, but started 15 seconds earlier than Wilkowiecki on the time trial, so Wilkowiecki got the podium just barely. But it's really sad to see Sebastian go. Another one like Jan Frodeno, my 2 idols who I started watching when I first started watching this sport. But then on the women's side, Ruth Astle was dominating on the bike, had a 6-minute lead coming into transition, but her Achilles injury meant that she had to drop out shortly into the run, and that meant that Guru Freydis Liraldi, she took the win there with a 2:49 marathon, and that heat is insane. I raced there and I did like a 2:49 half marathon. She totally crushed it. It's so impressive. I think it's one of the best female marathons in Ironman racing history, and she's 42 years old, so huge congrats to her. Then moving on, we also had Laguna Phuket, where a power couple win, and we've seen a lot of those in recent times, of Max Stapley and Kate Waugh. Max Stapley had a great battle with Max Studer, who almost ran him down but just ran out of room. And then Kate Waugh and Julie Darren fought pretty much the entire way. That looked like a great race. And yeah, I think those two could be PTO wildcards in the future, so keep an eye out for them. Then there was also Fortaleza 70.3, Martin Van Riel, who is a scary long distance prospect. He won there on the men's side, unsurprisingly. I know he wants to transfer up to the long distance, middle distance stuff after the Olympics. So between him and Hayden Wild and a few other short course athletes, it is going to be an insanely fast 70.3 Worlds next year. Ellie Salthouse won the women's race also there, unsurprisingly. And then finally, Javier Gomez returned back to Ironman racing at 70.3 Mossel Bay. He made it a little bit hard on himself. He didn't bring a swim skin, so he had to swim in his tri-suit, which he said really held him back, but he caught up on the bike and put down his trademark run. Cannot wait to see him. He's another one who's going to be so good at that World Championships in New Zealand, which is where I believe he trains most of the time. And then Emma Pound-Brown took the win. There was just 3 women racing there, so all of them got to split a podium, which is pretty cool. Upcoming this weekend, we've got Challenge Canberra. That's the one where Daniel Baekkegard, he would have to pull off a miracle of a performance to get enough points, I think, because of the start field and the strength of field score. But yeah, it actually looks like a pretty decent race. And if Caleb Noble beats him, then he will actually win the world bonus, which is worth quite a lot, the Challenge World bonus. I think it's a $125,000 prize pool. And he'll go ahead of Mathis Marjorie. So that'll be an interesting one to keep track of. And then Fenella Langridge is racing on the women's side against the likes of Radke Kollerfelt and Els Visser. So keep an eye out on that one. But before we move into the news, just a quick message from RTS, the Real Tri Squad. Take it away.
What if I told you that you don't have to spend all of your winter training indoors? And we've decided to make a camp for you in the beautiful location of Cozumel, Mexico from January 17th through the 24th. Why should you consider coming? Well, at Real Triathlon Squad, we're obviously all about having fun. We want to make sure that you're educated, entertained, and you can have a vacation during this camp. We've got a great all-inclusive hotel where you're going to be fed, educated through our evening seminars, and also get to train with some of the best professionals in our sport. We're bringing everything we can to you so you can start off your season well. So join us in Cozumel. We'd love to have you. We have great single and double occupancy rates. So make sure you just check us out, have fun, and sign up as soon as you can because our early bird sign up ends December 1st.
And then I wanted to say a quick shout out to my sponsors because it's the Black Friday week here in the US and there's some good deals going on. The feed, as always, has a lot of great deals, and if you couple that with my athlete team, you could be saving a lot of money and get stocked up for that winter training. And then A2 Bikes has a great deal on their SP, their red bike. You can get 10% off of that, as well as 30% off of wheels if you purchase the bike. And then also DeBoer has their first ever Black Friday sale, which looks amazing. So go check them out. Really appreciate it. But okay, on to the news and the big one, the missing bikes. What is going on? So I had to do some digging for this one. It all started when a cargo company took possession of and refused to release 180 bicycles belonging to triathletes who competed at the World Champs in Pontevedra in Spain. And that's because TriBike Transport apparently didn't pay for their shipping services for 13 different events. It was like $320,000 that they didn't pay. And basically a lawsuit was filed stating that they could take possession of the bikes because of the contract they had, and that they could even sell them at public auction. And their lawyer said they have no intention of selling the bikes. Actually, apparently they're offering the bikes back to the owners if they pay for more shipping, but that's not great because they've already paid TriBike Transport for the shipping. Ironman have also stepped in to try and help. They tried to help TriBike Transport with getting the bikes to Ironman Arizona and Ironman Cozumel. And then now 3 athletes have filed a lawsuit against the cargo company. But what the lawsuit might do is it might provide for a motion to provide emergency relief and to get those bikes back to the rightful owners. But this really is a terrible situation that seemed so out of the blue. And apparently a lot more athletes are still waiting on their bikes from other events, including the Kona World Championships. And USAT, for example, has had to start trying to crowdsource equipment for their upcoming Clash Daytona long distance national championships. So yeah, just a giant mess overall. And hopefully we'll see some people getting their bikes back soon. And then moving on to some lighthearted news. If you guys didn't see this, it's incredible. Matthew Vanderpool agreed with 2 YouTubers, Average Rob is the YouTube channel, that if the video got 42,000 likes, he would do an Ironman with them. Sure enough, right now, when I last checked, it was at 88,000 likes. So if you don't know Matthew Vanderpool, he's a world champion cyclist. He's just amazing on anything with 2 wheels. And yeah, it would be insane to watch what he could do at an Ironman race. And yeah, I really hope he fulfills his promise. That handshake looks serious, so I think he's going to. But moving on from there, we got an update on Lionel's testing. He went to the velodrome. The CDA results he were getting was quite different from when he went outside, but he managed to find some more small gains, and he is still really committed to the whole process with lots more planned in the future. I'm really enjoying that journey. Let me know what you guys think down below. Is he gonna be insane next year on the bike? I really hope so. The next piece of news was that Jocelyn McCauley turned down her spot after Ironman Florida to race at the Nice World Championships because the race is on a Sunday. She said she'd promised to God that she wouldn't race on a Sunday. She then found out when she turned down the slot and the slot went to Aaron Snellgrove that Aaron had actually turned down racing at Kona this year to get married, and now she was able to race in Nice next year thanks to it rolling down to her. So that was pretty cool. It ended up really working out well. And the next piece of news, Jan is officially a legend. He was awarded Legend of Sport honor at the recent German Sport Awards. So pretty cool. We can now for certain call Jan a legend. And the next piece of news, Taylor Knibb was talking to Breakfast with Bob about her situation with trying to get to Nice next year, and it looks pretty tough. She does have 4 ways to do it, including winning the Olympics, but the other ways aren't looking so good. So we'll have to keep a close eye on if Taylor can pull that off. She'd either have to validate with an Ironman or do 270.3s. And with the Olympics and the tight turnaround after the Olympics to race Nice, it doesn't look so good. But then moving on to Jason West, and I caught this article recently and it blew my mind. So it's the article of the week. It was about why Jason has decided to go short instead of going long and doing an Ironman, which people usually do. They don't usually go back to going to short distance racing. And well, in that article, I picked up that part of his goal for next year is to run a 104 at a 70.3. Now, that is absolutely mind-blowing. I think the fastest ever was a 106 by Jan Frodeno, if I'm correct. So a 104 is quite the jump. Apparently Jason was in the shape to run a 106 this year. So, 2 minutes, can he do it? What do you guys think? It's pretty crazy. And apparently he plans to see which race is the automatic qualifier for the Olympics for the men's US team and just go all in on that one. And if he makes it, he'll go to the Olympics. So that would be pretty cool. Last bit of news around the PTO and Ironman still is Joe Skipper gave us an idea of what the Ironman Pro Series is going to look for him and what it might look like for others. Joe is doing Oceanside 70.3, Ironman Texas, Ironman Cairns, Lake Placid, and then Kona, and then finally 70.3 Worlds. So 4 Ironmans in a row. That is pretty tough, but yeah, it looks like that's what he's going for. And then on that same subject, somebody surprised me who I thought would be racing the Pro Series is actually not, and that's Rudy von Berg. He said he's committed to racing the PTO races when they come out, which we still haven't heard much from, although we did get a little bit of an update from Jack Kelly in the Triathlon Hour podcast with Frederick Funk. He shared that the list of races is most likely going to come out in January sometime with the full schedule, and that right now it's looking like 7 or 8 races. I know Jack commentates for the PTO, so he probably does have good insight there, but I think everybody's still a little out of the loop. Even Fred said he didn't have much else to share that we already know. He said he did have some insight on the contracts, but wasn't able to share that. But yeah, it was really interesting to see Joe plan out his year in that video. And he said, I think if you win the Ironman series, you are the best long course athlete. But I don't feel the PTO series is a long distance series. It's more of an Olympic plus event, being only for an hour or longer. And yeah, I think that's kind of true. I'd have to agree with him. And after the Olympics, I think a lot of guys might go all in on those PTO races. All right, so that's the news. But before we move on to the video of the week and the hot question, I want to tell you about a challenge that I am starting this winter, and I hope you'll join me as well. I'm calling it the Magnus Ditlev 150 because I watched a video recently about Magnus that showed that when he was training to become the person that we know him as now, he had an accident in his early days, and then while he was recovering, he rode his bike despite his injuries for 150 days in a row on the trainer. And I am gonna do the same, and I hope a few of you will join me. I'll be putting it up on my Instagram, and if you do it, please tag me in some Instagram stories. I could use the accountability, but I'm really excited to make a video on it and see how much I improve. Yeah, if Magnus got as good as he did doing it, I'm hoping I do the same as well. But finally, we're on to the video of the week, and this one is the craziest video of the week I think that I'll ever show. I've seen this guy's videos before, but this one was another level. It was his dream bike build video. But look at that editing, those transitions, those maskings. I have really got to step up my game. That was incredible. I had to share that one with you. And then finally, on to the hot question. I just saw this one today. This one comes from Wave One Performance, who thinks that the NCAA racing, the women's racing that we have here, should go to more of a Super League format.
NCAA Triathlon might be in trouble. It needs to totally revamp its format and adopt the Super League Triathlon format.
I really like that idea because college sports here in the US is huge. And he argued, he did a full blog post on it, that it'd make it far more entertaining and viable for the future. And you know what? I think it's a great idea. Right now, it's just women at the NCAA level. And the only downside I could see about this is they would probably have to limit the amount of athletes who took part or just do lots and lots of heats. But yeah, I think it's a great idea. Let me know what you think about that. Do you think it could become a huge sport, maybe a televised sport one day if they followed Super League's idea? Let me know down in the comments. And with that, that is the Triathlon Weekly News Roundup. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm gonna try and make the weekly news roundup every Monday going forward, especially in the new year, which I'm so excited for. Lots of things in the works. Thank you guys as always for tuning in. If you are interested in supporting the channel, you can do so on Buy Me a Coffee and Patreon and being a team member, which there will be more perks for in the new year as well. So thanks guys again, and until next time, have a good one. We'll see you.